The second set will be played on Newkirk. Now our green Terran from KT Rolster. His name is Flash. He's spawning in the bottom left-hand position. Will he be able to take out SoO and potentially go for an all-kill?
Or can SoO stop his opponent Flash from getting any kills today and get him the 100 losses in Pro League? SoO spawns as Red Zerg on the right bottom position, playing for SK Telecom Team First.
Now, I was thinking a little bit more about the strategy of sending out Flash so fast, and the more I see it, the more sense it makes to me, because Flash, he can take out pretty much anyone from SK Telecom. I'd say Rain is his biggest opponent, and SK Telecom, they are going to save Rain for last. So what they can do is let Flash clean up everybody else beforehand, force Rain out. If Rain manages to beat Flash, they have players like Zest and Stats, amazing PvP players that deal with Rain.
In fact, I think Stats and Zest have been practicing a lot of PvP on Neoplanet S and Belshire Vestige, given the map pool. And if you look at the sets, if you look at the maps from 2 through 5, the only hard map for Flash has to be Naro Station, and especially in a TBP matchup on this map.
Maybe Parting could get sent out there. I could see Parting being sent out as a third player from SK Telecom T1.
Now that's only if Flash wins this set against SoO.
Yeah, if SoO ends up winning here, then Flash, not just Flash, but the entire KT Rolster plan and strategy, I feel it's gonna potentially crumble a little bit here. And we do have that signature 14 CC from Flash. He is going to have to face a hatch first from his opponent.
What's also really interesting is that Flash did not put up the command center at the ramp.
Yeah.
Usually players in a 2-player map, they put the command center at the ramp because they know that their opposing Zerg player can send out a single drone and harass the SCV as much as possible. But Flash is like, I'm pretty sure my opponent SoO is going to play a little bit greedy, so I can put the command center over there and it's going to be safe. Yeah,
as long as the Zerg player opts for the hatchery first, he's fine. Flash drinking his Pocari Sweat in the middle of the game there. Looks like he really wants to get that extra drink before the match really goes underway.
He just became five times more scary because he's drank that Pocari Sweat. I mean, that was a running gag back in Brood War days, and even in Starcraft2. Whenever Flash chucks down Pocari Sweat, and if he does it well, he dominates his opponent right away.
One of these days, he's going to accidentally choke on the Pocari Sweat, and it's going to mess up his game, man.
Yeah, actually, there was one of the days where he was going for multiple kills. He was doing really well in Pro League. He started drinking his Pocari Sweat, and then he started looking at it weirdly. It's like, this doesn't take like Pocari Sweat. As soon as he did that in that particular game, he lost.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Well,
I forgot which match it was.
Oh, this makes sense. But Flash is a robot, and the Pocari Sweat's like his oil. So you need a lot of oil to keep the machine, functioning properly.
I think we are going a little bit overboard with this.
Nah.
It's Flash, we're good. Now, Factory on the way from Flash's opponent SoO, just droning up at this point while getting the speed.
I have to say that ZVT has become pretty predictable nowadays, at least in the early stages. We almost always see the Terran players, regardless of their opening, get the Factory up very fast. And generally they'll get some Hellions out. They'll go for the Reactor Hellion build, which is what we almost always see in this matchup. Occasionally, they'll go for the drop play really fast, but the Hellions are almost always seen.
I would believe you if this was earlier days in HOTS, but these days, Flash, he loves to go for the third command center first. Yes. But also, a lot of these players love to mix in the Hellbats, and then 90% of the time from the Terran players in TvZ, we see Hellbat drops.
Hellbats have become very common in this matchup. We got 2 Hellions on the way, though, from Flash, and he is getting the third command center as well behind this. Still only 1 gas from him, though. And SoO, I like that he went ahead and wanted to grab a fast third base here as well. And he does scout the third base from Flash as well, I believe, with that circling.
Yeah. But Flash doesn't really care. He's just using that as a wall off at this point, and this is actually the same wall off that we saw. Yeah, a few days ago.
Flash decided that, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
If it's good, I'll copy it.
Yeah, even in the interview, Flash did say that he needs to learn a lot from Innovation at this point because he thinks that Innovation is a better player than himself.
That's interesting that he says that, but did Innovation say that Flash is better than him?
I don't think so.
Okay, well then...
I think he did say that his worst matchup by far in Heart of the Swarm has to be TBT, so he feels uncomfortable facing Flash.
Well, even though he did take him out in WCS.
Yes.
All right, well, we have 3 Queens out here, spreading some creep from SoO's side of the map. Hellions moving across the map. They're going to try to go over there. They'll spot the 3rd base under production. They don't really have the DPS to take it down, though.
And the Hellions just scouting the 3rd base. He knows that it's over there. He didn't see any drones to roast. So he's just going to leave that area for now.
A pretty good Overlord scout here from SoO. He's going to see the lack of a fast starport. There are 2 Widow Mines on the way here for Flash, though. And will they be spotted? Nope. Not before the Overlord gets picked off there.
So this keeps SoO thinking a little bit...
hold on a second. SoO didn't spot that fast 3rd.
Oh.
I thought he did because he sent a Zergling up there.
So I'm kind of surprised that he actually didn't see the 3rd command center, but this also leaves SoO thinking a little bit because he saw something building out of the reactor, and these days in TvZ, when you see something building out of the, factory with the reactor, 80% of the time the Zerg players would say Hellbats.
Yeah.
So, SoO did not see the armory, but he didn't get a full scouting inside his opponent's main base, so he needs to play a little bit more careful, but he didn't get any confirmation. That's the reason why he's just heavily droning up behind this.
Yeah. Both players just kind of moving more into a macro style. We have the +1/1 starting for both players here. It's about halfway done for Flash. SoO's upgrades are a little bit behind, but not by too much. We do have the Spire on the way, as well as a Baneling Nest from SoO as well. Flash's stim is going to finish up here, getting that armory so we can get the 2-2 by the time this 1-1 finishes. Maybe go into that Hellbat production like you were talking about. We could see some drops behind this, and we also have a macro hatch going down for SoO as well. His economy has been unstifled throughout the entire game, so he's going to be in a pretty strong position from a economy standpoint, but you can say the same for Flash as well.
Yeah, Flash is pretty much saying, I'm not going to harass you, but that also means that you can't harass me at all because none of my units are going to leave my main base at this point in the game. The armory right now is just going to finish just in time for the +2/+2 for those upgrades to start. Yes, he could add in the Hellbats a little bit later into the game when the Zerg player is not expecting. However, SoO wants to defend against the Medivacs with Mutas right now as the Spire Tech is finishing up on his side. And both players just having a Mexican standoff pretty much at their own 3rd bases and 4th base.
Looks like both players' plan for this game was to kind of sit back and be passive for a while, really just make sure they get that 3rd base economy up, get those good upgrades that they desperately need to be effective later on in the game. It's actually a little bit interesting. We're going to see some attacks come here probably within the next minute or 2.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of Widow Mines in this army composition here from Flash. No Marauders, though, and we don't really see too many Medivacs out just yet.
Yeah, and Flash, he pretty much splits his mines really well while engaging into the Zerg opponent. There are some Terran players who uses it well, and Flash just uses it amazingly well. He puts 1 Widow Mine in the front, few Widow Mines scatter around, and the Zerg players cannot expect how many Widow Mines there are when they face Flash.
SoO's creep spread is actually pretty solid here. He's got creep all over the map. Muta's now moving towards the 3rd base. Are there any turrets up? I don't think we have any turrets. Zergling's moving to try to get a surround there, but they do back up. And the Mutas here, there's actually no turrets to defend against this, so we're going to see a little bit of economic damage from SoO, but he also needs to be able to defend at the home base here. Sending in those Zerglings. Oh, no! Doesn't lose too many units there. It could have been way worse. The Muta's now joining the fight. There's a lot of Widow Mines in this army mix here. There's up to 9 Widow Mines. That's the problem.
And SoO actually made a mistake. He tried to draw out the Widow Mine fire, but the Zerglings were too fast and it went out of the radius right away.
So it's becoming very hard for the Zerg player to actually engage here. He's going to do his best, putting his units on hold position. Now moving forward, they're just deciding to go for it. Some Widow Mine hits do go off, but the supplies right now, they're in Flash's favor. SoO, it looks like he may not be able to defend against this. Actually, Flash may just win the game with this push here.
He just suicided so many Zerglings into the Widow Mines, and that allows Flash to move out on the map. Remember when you saw Stefano versus 4GG? I think that's what SoO was trying to go for. Reverse mine hits on the Marines, but it just didn't work out well, and because of one mistake, he loses a hatchery.
Yep, on the pro level, one mistake can certainly cost you the game. The third hatch going down. Baneling's moving in here. They get okay connections, but there's still a lot of units left here from Flash. He uncharacteristically doesn't micro those units as well as he could have, but SoO actually, okay, it looks like with these reinforcements he will go ahead and clean up that push, but the problem is, you know, Flash can just keep pushing.
Yeah. I mean, you know how Flash, when he plays TvZ, he's got constant Marines and Widow Mines streaming throughout the whole map. So when he loses a couple of Marines, he already has a reinforcement with the main army right there. And behind us, yes, SoO did kill some SCVs, but Flash, he's already well fortified in 3 bases, saturated right now. 67 SCVs across 3 bases.
Flash, he did a good job at clearing out some of the creep over here, but the problem is these queens just continue to lay the creep and keeping that creep spread pretty solid for our Zerg player. Now the Banelings, they're going to complete soon. The Mute is now coming in. Banelings, they don't want to connect with the Marauders here, and they have to be wary of the Widow Mines. The engagement looking okay for SoO. Does he have enough Mutas to clean this up? It looks like the Mutas will be able to just barely clean this up here, but the unit count is just falling for SoO here. Is now down to 113 supplies to 142 from Flash.
Can he actually get the medivacs? That's the biggest point. Yes, he is getting the Marines, he's getting the Widow Mines, but the biggest point is, can he actually get the medivacs to cut the support? And no, not going to happen. SoO did a nice job. He engaged when Flash did not burrow the Widow Mines, took out the 3 Widow Mines at once with a single Baneling, but he just doesn't have enough because he lost the 4th base.
Yep, that base is going to get taken out there. There's nothing SoO can do to save it. Now Flash, oh, wait, he actually saves it. Wow, didn't expect that. We have a big potential drop here from Flash. He's got some, okay, that looks like it was just a mistake. He didn't mean to lift those units up.
Well, he was trying to get out of the 4th base before every single Baneling's got a hit on the Marines, so that's the reason why it was still in the medevac. But Flash, he could still move out on the map because the Widow Mines haven't been taken out. There's 11 Widow Mines out on the map that SoO has to deal with.
That's ridiculous. He's like attacking into the army, then running away because he's so afraid of those Widow Mine connections. And there's some good hits here from SoO. It looks like the Widow Mines, there's not a lot of them left. Spread is decent from Flash here, but it looks like SoO may have gotten the better engagement here.
This engagement was actually fantastic. The Mutas are cleaning up. Yes, he is going to be pulled back, but he did save the 4th base for now. He is taking a 5th base in the middle of the map.
I think SoO may be anticipating that he just could potentially lose that the 3rd base down there.
And that was actually a really nice decision by SoO because he knows that, well, it's really low on HP. It's going to get taken out soon if the Marines get 1 or 2 hits on it. So it's better for me to just rebuild a hatchery somewhere else around the map.
SoO doing his best to defend here. The Widow Mine has to be very careful for those Widow Mines. And hitting the Mutaclump there. But the Widow Mine's getting destroyed here. None of them being able to get burrowed. Looks like Flash, you know, being a little bit over-aggressive here. If he continues these attacks and SoO can keep thwarting them, then SoO will actually come back into this game. He's already at 136 supply to 152, so although still behind, if you look at the worker count, 74 workers to 67, SoO in the lead. He's continuing to make units right now, and as long as Flash gives him enough time, he can hold here.
And Flash is actually allowing SoO to actually win this engagement because he's having a nice splits in the middle of the map. Yes, he's using the Widow Mines to the fullest potential. He is winning some battles in the middle of the map, but we are not seeing any drops into the main base. We're not seeing any drops into the 3rd base.
Flash is finally deciding to take us 4th now, but it's a pretty late 4th. He's really just been focusing on just doing as much damage as possible to SoO. And that 3rd base does go down here. Flash starting to get a little bit of leeway here.
But do remember, there's another hatchery in the middle of the map that SoO can go for.
Yep, and these additional Banelings that are reinforcing here are going to help take out these units. Flash can't do anything about that Baneling count there. The Widow Mines, though, doing a good job at buying his army enough time to kite them away and slowly picking them off one by one. The 3-3 for Flash is going to complete here, and that's going to be the hardest thing for SoO to deal with now because he is not on Hive Tech.
What I'm really surprised at is SoO is just, I mean, SoO is barely keeping up with Flash's army with only 2-2 without drops inside the main base. That's how dominating Flash is when it comes to the engagements. But this one isn't so great for Flash as he has to lift and get out of there.
Trying to bait a lot of units to those Widow Mines, but oh, nice Widow Mine hit there, killing off a lot of those Banelings here. It looks like the trade will be pretty even, but SoO actually, no, he gets a supply advantage here. Could we see our Terran player Flash fall to SoO?
Well, he is slowly moving out on the map, and SoO is fortifying himself on 4 bases. Granted, he doesn't have a 7th and the 8th gas right now, so he can't utilize a high gas count. No infestation pit, which means that he can't go to Hive just yet, so it's hard for SoO to engage with only Zerglings and Banelings and Mutas.
Yeah, especially in being behind in supply as behind in upgrades as well. He needs to have good Baneling connections here. The one good thing that he has going for him though is that Flash delayed his third base by a long time, and that's preventing this economy from being better than it normally would be.
And also the Widowmine drawouts have been fantastic at some points when SoO knows where the Widowmines are. And look at this pushing map Flash once again. And the crucial point is he's not losing that many Mutas. Yes, he's losing Zerglings, he's losing Banelings, but he still has the Mutas. Flash is too scared to go for the drops because of the number of Mutas. And SoO has out on the field.
We have the +1 air attack also complete for the Mutas, so they're still doing a decent amount of damage here. I think though this fourth base may end up falling here. There's just not a lot of units to defend against this here. We need to see more Banelings and Zerglings added into the mix. 5 Banelings on the way here now. Looks like the Zerg player forced to attack into this here. Will the Widowmine connections be good and help out the Zerg player?
Not so much at the last second as those Widowmines get free shots on the Mutas, and the fourth base is going to get taken out.
Also, nice control from Flash, snapping off yet another base here. And the Widowmines still exist right now. Nice connection, killing off a lot of those Mutas there. Muta count falling rapidly now. GG is called. Flash with relentless aggression after a quick build-up of 3 bases secures the victory.
Who needs to drop in TvZ if I have solid micro with Widowmines and Marines and finish you off with only those units?
And you know what the thing is? SoO actually played pretty good that game, but Flash just... he did not stop at the aggression, and he actually ended up losing a lot of the key battles, but through his persistence, he was eventually able to kill off enough Zerg bases, and he did secure the victory. All right, guys, we have to go into a quick commercial break. When we get back, set 3 between